Within weeks of being elected Chancellor, Rachel Reeves claimed to have unearthed a £22 billion fiscal black hole left behind by the Tories. The Institute for Fiscal Studies had already warned that Labour would inherit a tight fiscal position, but Reeves affected surprise, a performance that fooled no one. The reality is stark. Labour is scrambling to make its promises fit into an economic framework that's crumbling under scrutiny. For all their talk of fairness and fiscal responsibility, the cracks are already showing. Andrew Neil's latest interview with Reeves was a masterclass in dismantling political pretense. He came armed with sharp questions and an even sharper wit, exposing every contradiction in Labour's economic strategy. Reeves tried to list her achievements, freezing fuel duty, boosting the national living wage, and protecting workers' pay, but Neil wasn't having it. Desperate stuff, he shot back, his tone dripping with disdain. He didn't just challenge her pledges, he tore into the glaring inconsistencies between Labour's promises and its actions. The elephant in the room is Labour's supposed commitment to fully costed spending plans. Now, the air is thick with speculation about tax hikes. Employers' national insurance contributions? Almost certainly on the table, potentially bringing in an extra £12 billion. Capital gains tax? That's another couple of billion. And fuel duty, which hasn't risen since 2011, might be next. An easy £5 billion to justify under the guise of a green agenda. The problem? These are all taxes on working people, the very group Labour claims to champion. Labour's approval ratings are in free fall, and Reeves is at the centre of the storm. Once seen as a beacon of hope for working-class families, the party now finds itself accused of betrayal. Pensioners are outraged as winter fuel payments are slashed despite Labour's promises to protect them. Families struggling with the cost of living crisis are seeing little relief, even as Reeves insists she's putting more money in people's pockets. The gap between rhetoric and reality is impossible to ignore. Neil didn't let Reeves off the hook. He grilled her on policies that hurt the very people Labour claims to support. Why cut winter fuel allowances for pensioners during one of the harshest winters in years? Why dodge questions about national insurance hikes, which will inevitably hit workers and businesses alike? Reeves tried to pivot, talking about economic growth and lifting people out of poverty. But Neil wasn't buying it. How? He pressed. Where are the practical solutions? Labour's economic narrative is unravelling. Reeves talks a big game about fairness and growth, but the numbers don't add up. The party's focus seems more on damage control than on delivering real solutions. Critics argue that Labour is prioritising political convenience over meaningful action, and it's costing them dearly. Internal divisions are growing, with some members reportedly fearing that Reeves' decisions are doing irreparable damage to the party's reputation. The spectre of Europe looms large in this debate. Reeves and Labour leader Keir Starmer have been accused of sniffing around for a better Brexit deal, with rumours that rejoining the single market or customs union is on the table. For many voters, this feels like a betrayal of the promises Labour made to respect the Brexit decision. The optics are disastrous. Labour appears out of touch, more focused on appeasing Brussels than addressing the struggles of British families. Neil didn't stop there. He pointed out the hypocrisy in Labour's tax policies. On one hand, Reeves talks about easing the cost of living crisis. On the other, her proposed tax hikes risk doing the exact opposite. Higher national insurance contributions mean higher costs for businesses, which will inevitably trickle down to workers. Wages will stagnate, prices will rise, and families already struggling to make ends meet will bear the brunt. Reeves' failure to address these contradictions head-on isn't just a strategic misstep, it's a betrayal of trust. The public is growing increasingly skeptical. Labour once positioned itself as the party of the working class, but its actions tell a different story. The promised relief for families has yet to materialise. Inflation continues to erode wages, and the idea of higher taxes sends shockwaves through households already drowning in rising energy and food costs. For all her talk of fairness, Reeves has yet to offer a coherent plan to ease the burden on ordinary people. And then there's the issue of trust. Reports are surfacing that Labour is delaying elections in key areas, allegedly to avoid an electoral reckoning. Critics call it a desperate attempt to cling to power, a move that risks further eroding public confidence. Labour's internal divisions are spilling into the open, with whispers of dissent growing louder. Some members fear the party is losing its way, abandoning its principles in a bid to stay afloat. Reeves' leadership is under fire. Her promises of economic relief feel increasingly hollow, undermined by her own decisions and the party's broader contradictions. Neil's relentless questioning has amplified doubts that were already simmering among the public. Can Labour turn things around? Or is this the beginning of the end for a party that once prided itself on standing up for the underdog? The clock is ticking. If Reeves and Starmer can't rebuild trust and deliver on their promises, Labour risks being left in the political dust. Words alone won't cut it. The public is tired of empty rhetoric and broken promises. They want action, and they want it now. If Labour can't rise to the occasion, they may find themselves consigned to the opposition benches for years to come. The next move is critical. Reeves and Starmer have one chance to prove they can lead, a chance that's slipping away with every misstep. Time is running out, and the public's patience is wearing thin.